Our next series of races will be the competition for Top Gas Eliminator. Now, the cars used in these competitions are specially built for the quarter-mile acceleration. They're the dragsters, but they're using pumped gasoline. And it's amazing what they can do with these finely tuned machines, accelerating up to speeds almost 200 miles an hour and going through the quarter-mile distance in slightly over 8 seconds. Should be a tremendously competitive event, and I see that they're about to get underway with the first race. And lined up on the line, it's Pete Robinson in number 47, the 1962 Top Eliminator from Atlanta, Georgia, and Harold Amix from Westminster, California, in car number 73. Robinson on the far side, that's Pete right there, a terrific competitor, and he came on with a big surprise back in 1962, and they're away. Notice the tremendous smoke as they get traction with those rear wheels. The race to the finish line is going to be very close, and the winner is Harold Amix of Westminster, California, with a speed of 184.42 miles per hour. Sometimes these drivers look a little like men from outer space, and here's Bob Keith from San Jose, California, to tell us why.
Well, in the first place, we wear an asbestos fire suit. This, in case of an engine blow up, we don't get burnt. It's made out of an asbestos material, and there's several different companies that make them, and they've sure helped save a lot of people's lives.
You have some other articles also, Bob.
Yes, sir. We have goggles. These are more or less an aircraft-type goggles. They've got a shatterproof lens in case of flying objects. And then we also have an asbestos glove, which is made out of the same material as the fire suit, with the exception of the inside, which are made out of leather so we can grip the steering wheel. And then we have the crash helmet, or as we say in drag racing, a skid lid or brain bucket. And this has saved an awful lot of people's lives also. The most important item, as far as I'm concerned, is the face mask. This will, in case of a fire, keep you from getting your face burned. It is made out of the asbestos, and it also is lined inside to keep the heat out. The asbestos alone will keep the fire out, but not the heat, so this is why they are lined in the inside.
How warm is it inside all this?
It gets pretty warm when the sun comes out like it is today.
And when the competition is tough. I know you want to get back to that race. You're competing in the competition for Top Gas Eliminator. Good luck to you.
Thank you very much.
No, it's not Ringo Starr. It's Jerry Caudle of Chicago, Illinois, driving Dragster number 110, a rather unusual helmet. I think you'll have to agree. But he also is wearing the face mask and the goggles and the fire-protected gloves. Caudle is racing against George Boltoff, and they're away, and Boltoff is taking the lead quickly. And a sizable win by George Boltoff in a Chrysler-powered machine with a speed of 181.80 miles per hour. This is the first round of Top Gas Eliminator, the final division, and we'll be moving into the semifinals, but now we have one more race left in this round. It'll be Jimmy Nix of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, versus Ron Colson of Oregon, Illinois. Number 8 is Jimmy Nix. There's Ron Colson. They're away, but Colson fouled. You notice the timing lights, and it would indicate a foul. Colson is fouled, so Nix automatically will be the winner. Nix backed off the minute he realized that Colson had fouled. Colson's speed was 166, but he is the loser, and so Nix will go into the semifinals. And we'll have the semifinals for Top Gas Eliminator coming up in just a moment from Pomona, California. Ready now for the semifinals of the Top Gas Eliminator competition. Number 8 is Jimmy Nix from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Number 43, George Boltoff from Encino, California. Notice how the dragster leaped into the air as he was getting tremendous traction on the rear wheels, and Boltoff has fouled. He's leading, but Jimmy Nix is going to be the winner. Boltoff's speed, 181.44 miles per hour, but he got off the line too quickly. Now the other semifinal event, Gordon Collette from Portsmouth, Ohio, racing against Harold Amix from Westminster, California. Collette in number 13, Amix in number 73. Study of concentration as he watches those lights, and they're away. It looks like Collette is having trouble, but Amix is roaring on to the finish line, and the winner is Harold Amix with a speed of 184.04 miles per hour. It appears to be quite a thrill to drive one of these high-powered racing machines. Let's take a look at how it looks from the dragster's point of view. Our special camera has been mounted on the front axle. You'll notice how much he moves his hand. He has very slow steering, so he will not overcorrect. Moving toward the finish line, and he pops his parachute for braking action. All dragsters are equipped with parachutes. Now we get another view over the driver's shoulder. Notice the white line down the drag strip. He tries to keep it on that white line, and he uses that for steering. He doesn't have much time, and he is at the finish line and starts to slow down. Braking is very important, and he must do it very delicately, or he'll throw his machine out of control. Now we're ready for the finals of the Top Gas Eliminator competition. It's Jimmy Nix and Harold Amix. That's the machine of Jimmy Nix from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Harold Amix. Amix is in number 73 from Westminster, California. And they're away. They used a flag start. The lights didn't work. That was a bit of a surprise to them. But Nix is moving out. Amix closing the gap, but he's going to be too late, and the winner is Jimmy Nix with an elapsed time of 8 5/55 seconds, a speed of 179.28 miles per hour. Actually, Amix was going faster at the finish, but he was too far behind. Now let's talk to the winner. Jimmy, that was a wonderful run. Congratulations to you.
Thank you, Charlie.
Did it bother you at all to go back to the old style of starting with the flag rather than the light?
Well, it was a little bit of a surprise. It caught me, a little unaware of what was going on, really. I was just surprised, when the lights didn't work, the malfunction, and then they had the flag, and it was a surprise.
Did you get off to a good start?
I think so. I think we got off to a good start.
It was a pretty close race all the way. Were you concerned at any time down the way?
Wow, I was really worried from, the word go.
Now, you've had some pretty good times in previous nationals, but you've had some hard luck.
Well, that's right. I had low ET here at this same race last year, and then low ET at Indianapolis at the Summer Nationals. And
what happened that you didn't win?
Well, I foul started up there, got a red light, and then I broke the motor here last year.
Well, you didn't break anything this year but records for yourself and the hearts of the other competitors. Congratulations to you.
Thank you a lot, Charlie.
Jimmy Nix, the Top Gas Eliminator. I'm sure it's quite a bit warmer here in Pomona than it is in Aspen, and as a matter of fact, the competition is getting very hot right now. Back at Pomona, California for the Winter Nationals, we have the next event coming up, the runoff for Competition Eliminator. Now, a competition car has been built specifically for the acceleration through the quarter mile, built especially for drag racing. But the thing that differentiates the competition cars from the dragsters is the fact that they started with some existing car. Now, they've made a lot of alterations, made a lot of changes, and they have built rails, and they look very much like dragsters, but at least the start was an existing car, and they can get up to fantastic speed. So it's the runoff for Competition Eliminator, and they're about to get underway. Once again, in this classification, it's on a handicap system. That's Pete Schattinger in number 96 from Vineland, New Jersey, in a 48 Buick-powered car. Kay Sissel in number 302 from Rosemead, California, driving a 23 Model T powered by a GMC engine. This should be an interesting race. That's Sissel. He took a 23 Model T body and put a GMC engine on his rails. They're away. You notice the difference because of the handicapping. It's going to be a close race, halfway down. And all the way to the finish, and it's Pete Schattinger, the winner, with a speed of 117.03 miles per hour. So he'll move into the semifinals in the runoff for Competition Eliminator. Now here is last year's world champion in this class, Charlie Smith. Smith hails from Oklahoma City. He's got a 23 Model T powered by a 64 Chevrolet engine. Notice he wears the face mask, and he is all concentration as he's ready to go, watching his RPM indications. He'll be running against Danny Brown of Denver, Colorado. And they're away. Smith fishtailed just a little bit as they got away, but he gets it under control, and he's leading. In a very close race, Charlie Smith, the winner, with a speed of 147.05 miles per hour. Now we have Roy Spradling. Spradling hails from California, and Frank Smith, Charlie's brother from Oklahoma City, is in this competition with a car that looks very much like a dragster. But he started with a 23 Ford and put a 64 Chevrolet engine in it. Frank Smith versus Roy Spradling, and it's Frank Smith well out in front, and he is the winner with a speed of 154.63 miles per hour. He'll move into the semifinals along with Chico Brasini, who drew a bye. Standing by waiting for their opportunity to face the timer at the starting line, a very important team in the competition eliminator class, the team of Davis and Ingram. Wes Ingram on my far right, who is the crew chief, and Joe Davis, the driver from San Jose, California. And they have a very interesting car in this competition. And how do you feel about your chances, Joe?
Real good.
Tell us about the car now. It's a 1937 Fiat, but it's been changed from its original conception in Italy. Wes, what are the major things you've done to it?
Well, the body's completely changed. The wheelbase is moved up. The front axle is moved up. The engine is set back 25% of the wheelbase. And, of course, much more horsepower.
Now, speaking of horsepower, the car appears to be all engine. What kind of an engine do you have in there, and how much horsepower does it produce?
It's a 1964 Chevrolet 327 to start with. It's stroked out to 364. It has a GMC 671 supercharger with Hilborn injectors.
When you say stroked out, you mean you've just enlarged the engine. You've made it a bigger engine. Now, I noticed that the wheels are very small in front. Why is this?
Well, they allow a certain size wheel, and we stay within what the rules allow. The smaller wheel is all that's really necessary on the front.
Why is a smaller wheel necessary?
Well, it isn't necessarily that the small wheel on the front is necessary as much as the large wheel on the back. It just makes it look odd. Actually, well, weight, for one thing, you can get by with less weight with a small wheel. The big thing is that it looks much smaller because of the back wheel being so big.
I guess you might say this car has been built for acceleration, and how fast will it accelerate?
Well, our best is 149.25, which was last week, and our best DT is 978.
Looks like you've got a real going combination here. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Now into the semifinals for competition eliminator. Pete Schattinger from Vineland, New Jersey against Chico Brasini, who hails from Concord, California. That's Schattinger we just saw. They're both in dragsters, and Schattinger had slightly the better of it on the start because of the handicap difference. The question whether Brasini can make up the ground. Brasini's coming on, and he just nipped Schattinger at the finish line. His speed was 146.57 miles per hour. Now we have a special duel in the other semifinal match, the two brothers, Charlie and Frank Smith. That's Charlie Smith, last year's world champion and competition eliminator. And here's his brother Frank. His brother Frank is driving a car that is in the competition classification, A competition, and Charlie Smith has an A Alder. Smith's car, a 23 Ford with a 64 Chevy. And Frank fouled on the start. He was so eager to beat his brother that he fouled. He's leading, but he will be the loser, and Charlie Smith will go into the final. Here's Smith's speed, 144.69 miles per hour, and Charlie Smith will go in against Chico Brasini in the finals, and that'll be coming up in just a moment from Pomona, California. The finals for competition eliminator between Chico Brasini and Charlie Smith got off to a bad start. Chico Brasini is out in front. Charlie Smith is gaining, but I don't believe he's going to have enough time. And the winner is Chico Brasini with a speed of 145.63 miles per hour and a elapsed time of 9.67. His wife is hilarious over that victory. A tremendous upset as last year's world champion Charlie Smith has been defeated. There's his boy and his dog, and they're all happy. So the winner is Chico Brasini. Many of you have asked for more information about the ABC Wide World of Sports book. Here's Bob Rieger to tell you all about it.
Hello, I'm Robert Rieger. 1964 was a great Olympic year in sports. I traveled over 100,000 miles making drawings and photographs on ABC's Wide World of Sports, from the Winter Olympics in January to the AFL Championship game in December. I know that the thousands of viewers who have written in for copies of these pictures will be happy to know that they're all in our big new book that's ready now. It's called ABC Wide World of Sports. Over 250 pages, close to 400 photographs and drawings featuring Innsbruck and the Summer Olympic trials and the best of ABC's Wide World of Sports shows. Beautifully reproduced and ideal for study by young athletes, along with a text by our staff of experts. For your copy, send $2, check or money order, which includes handling and mailing, to Sports Programs Incorporated, P.O. Box 17, Brooklyn 1, New York. Make checks or money orders payable to Sports Programs Incorporated, and the address again, P.O. Box 17, Brooklyn 1, New York. This offer not available in Canada, and please allow 3 weeks for delivery. And join us in the weeks to come for more excitement on ABC's Wide World of Sport.
We're now going to watch one of the most interesting classes of all in drag racing, the Top Fuel Eliminator class. This is the special dragster, the one that is built specifically to accelerate over the quarter-mile distance. Cars developing horsepower of more than 1,200, and cars that can exceed 200 miles an hour at the end of a quarter mile. They literally explode at the starting line and zip through that quarter mile in 8 seconds or less. It should be very exciting, and I see that the first race is about to get underway. This race matches Jim Warren of Bakersfield, California, against Don Prudhomme of Granada Hills, California. And that is Warren. Prudhomme is driving the Hawaiian, a car owned by a family in Hawaii, the Leong. Now they must not leave that line before the green light has flashed. They get a 5-second warning, and in a 1-second interval, the lights go down to the green light, and Warren has fouled. Jim Warren has fouled. Don Prudhomme will automatically be the winner. Warren is leading, but he is disqualified, and the winner is Don Prudhomme with a speed of 175.78 miles per hour. Here's Big Daddy Don Garlits, the most famous name in drag racing. One-time top eliminator, has probably won more drag races than any man alive. Bill Alexander will be his opponent. Garlits hails from Tampa, Florida, and Wild Bill Alexander will be racing against him. They're lined up and ready to go, and Garlits has fouled. A tremendous upset here at Pomona, California, as Don Garlits, who had turned 206 miles an hour in a preliminary run, has fouled, and Bill Alexander is the winner. Alexander is taking his time, knowing that he has the victory, and Don Garlits has been eliminated. Well, that is a tremendous surprise. The next race is a rather interesting one. Connie Kalita, one of the all-time great dragsters, in number 24, racing against Art Malone, who is a veteran of the Indianapolis Speedway. Malone gained his experience drag racing, then carried that experience onto the Speedway, where he was able to qualify for the Indianapolis 500-mile race. And this should be a good race. Connie Kalita of Mount Clemens, Michigan, and Art Malone of Lutz, Florida. Malone on the far side, Kalita on the near side. That's Malone. They're away. They got off together. Good start. Heading for the finish line. Kalita is the leader, and Connie Kalita is the winner with a speed of 190.26 miles per hour, just barely edging out Art Malone. And so, Connie Kalita will move into the third round. That next race was Danny Ungaius and Rick Stewart, and Ungaius fouled, so Rick Stewart is the winner and will move ahead. The big moment is arriving for Connie Kalita from Mount Clemens, Michigan, one of the nation's top drag racers, and a man who has achieved a speed of better than 200 miles an hour here in practice. Connie, I see this is your car, the Bounty Hunter. Let's talk about it and explain some of the more important features. What about these big wheels? Why do you use such big wheels on the rear?
The reason for this is, Chuck, is to put as many square inches of rubber area on the surface at one time to accommodate the horsepower of the engine.
To get as much traction as possible. What is the size of the tread of this tire?
The face of that tire is a full 11 inches wide.
And that's a lot of tire. Now, what about the engine?
This engine is a new overhead cam Ford engine developed by Ford Motor Car Company, and it's been leased to me to run experimentation tests on it. When you put a supercharger on an engine like this, which is sitting on top, and run nitromethane, it's pretty hard on things, and it really shows the stresses and strains real quick.
Now, we've taken the cover off the right side so they can see the inner workings. What are we looking at there?
You're looking at the camshaft and the rocker arm assemblies for the valve train.
Very complex engine. How much horsepower will it produce?
It's pretty hard, but I would say it's making over 1,500 horsepower real easy.
Wow. Now, I'm struck by the very small wheels in front. Why do you use such small wheels?
The reason for this is, Chuck, we don't need weight up there, so we make a small, light tire. We need less wind resistance, therefore we use a small tire also. And 3, it's less rolling resistance.
What would you say this car is worth?
I've got about $10,000 sitting there, Chuck.
And that's not counting the engine.
No, it's not.
Well, good luck to you, Connie. I know that you're anxious to get out there and beat some of the top drag racers in the country.
I'll be there trying.
Here's Don Prudhomme, who has drawn a bye in the third round, but they make him run anyway. The life of one of these engines is only about 6 or 7 races, and so it would be a definite advantage if he was able to skip one round. So they make him run. He'll probably just start off very quickly and then cut the engine out to save it. So he's moving up. He's a cinch to win. He has no opponent. But they make him make a pretty good effort because he would not be using his engine if he didn't. He got away pretty well there, and now probably will shut off. Yes, he is shutting off to save that engine, so his speed will be very, very slow, but he'll go into the semifinals, and he will meet Rick Stewart in the semifinals. The other semifinal has Bill Alexander against Connie Kalita. And here it is, Connie Kalita, whom we just talked to in this $10,000 dragster that is capable of producing 1,500 horsepower, racing against Wild Bill Alexander. Alexander on the far side, moving them into position. Kalita waiting for those lights to start, eager to go, and Kalita fouled. It's the second big favorite that has been eliminated through the foul procedure. He jumped the lights, in other words. He's well out in front, but he's a loser because he fouled on the start. So Bill Alexander will go in to the finals against the winner of the match between Don Prudhomme and Rick Stewart.